Hello YouTube and fellow preppers, I am Geordie Prepper, and in today's video we are looking at water, and we are looking at water storage at the bugging location. I'm going to be showing you what I use to store water and also to help me ration and distribute water, both to myself and to others who may need it. Before we start, I just want to thank you all for subscribing to the channel and for watching. If you would like to comment after the video, then please do so. And also I'd like to hear what you do with your bugging preps and the sort of things that you're using. So let's get into water storage and I'll show you what I use. Okay, so in front of you here is what I use to store my water. These are 4 10-litre water carriers. They're made of a food grade plastic, so they're not very rigid. These are typically what you might use for camping. They have a tap on them though, and I would suggest that if you do get something like this to store your water, then to get one with a tap, because then obviously you can just put it on the edge of a surface here, with the tap facing down obviously, and you can just pour it into your container that you're going to drink from. Also, the mistake I made was going to a cheap pound shop or dollar store, and I bought some very cheap ones. The plastic was a lot thinner than this, and they started leaking at the edges here where the plastic is kind of crimped. These ones are much higher quality. They obviously cost a bit more, but they were worth it. These have lasted over a year and a half, and I haven't found a need to replace them yet. These aren't kept on the surface in daylight, they're kept in a cupboard in the dark. Obviously, due to them being see-through, you want to keep the available amount of light hitting them to a bare minimum, just to inhibit any bacterial growth that may be in them. The water in here is just taken from the tap, just the cold water from the tap in the kitchen. 1 litre of water weighs about 1 kilogram. So at 10 litres these weigh 10 kilograms each, which is not hard for me to pick up and not hard for me to handle, but if you find that due to their lack of rigidity, they may not be suitable for everyone. I do intend to upgrade these to jerry cans. I've been looking at some online today actually, and if I do update my storage, I'll just do an update video to my water storage. But basically these are what I use to actually keep the water and to store it on site at the bugging location. And next I'll show you what I use to help ration it and to distribute it. Okay guys, so I've shown you the water storage that I have at my bugging location, which is the 4 water carriers here, 10 litres each, which equates to, at 500 millilitres per day, 80 days worth of water just for drinking, solely for drinking. In a bugging situation though, you may not be the only one who's in the bugging location that you're at, and there also may be others who come to your bugging location and who need water. If anyone does come or see someone in need who needs water, then I would just give these out, and these are just 1 litre old milk cartons, which I've cleaned and disinfected. It's basically just a perishable item which I can give to someone, and I don't care if I get it back or not. It's just something to hand out to people basically who need water. That holds 1 litre. The canteen here next is something that you would use on a hike or a walk. This holds roughly 800 millilitres of water, and I would use this if I have to leave the bugging location. So it has a bit of a higher allocation of water than the allotment that I would give myself if I just purely was staying on site. It's obviously more rigid, there's less likely chance of any water leaking out of it, and it has more, a secure way of keeping it on you. If I'm actually bugging in and I'm just in the location itself though, I would be drinking from something like this, which is basically just an old colloidal silver bottle. They're very tough. It has a very good cap on it, so there's not much chance of it leaking at all. It's obviously a lot safer to use this than a cup, because you could knock over a cup, you could spill it, and if you spill your daily allocation of water, then the supply that you allocated yourself isn't going to last the 80 days that I thought it would. You might get to like the 35th day and you've just simply run out of drinking water, and then that, you know, can mess up your whole plan about bugging in. And talking about rationing and monitoring the amount of water that you're using, you know, most kitchens will have a bog standard measuring jug in them. I would personally make sure that you have at least two, just in case one breaks or, you know, it goes missing. And if you need to pour water into a non-standard container that you've allocated yourself, then you want to be measuring the water that you are taking from your supplies, and you want to keep a note of it, which doesn't use electricity. So just get like a note paper and a pencil and monitor and record all of the water that you do use. So these are just the basic items that I use to help monitor the water that I would be using in a bugging situation. And in future videos, what we're going to be talking about is actually filtering water and processing of water. Water is so important to your preps, guys. I can't really emphasize it enough. It has such an effect on your health, and it could really make or break whether you bug in or you bug out of the current location that you're at. Which is why I'm going to be taking over course of a few videos just to talk about this one topic. So thank you for watching, guys. If you haven't already, please subscribe. If you'd like to see other things in the videos, then please let me know. You know, let me know what you do and what you use to store water, and be safe and be prepared.